Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on this one I'm gonna show you how to get EDDIE Van Halen's tone on Van Halen's Tokyo Dome live album from 2015 with a couple of amps, EVH5153, 50-watt stealth, BluGuitar's AMP1 Iridium, and good old Peavey 5150 black leather. Well, I mean, or at least how close we normal beings can get to King Edward's tone. Okay, so there was a few Van Halen licks from the album. I played them on purpose, a little bit differently, because I gotten whatever is the word from YouTube that, hey dude, you're using Van Halen's audio from this Tokyo Dome album. Whenever I played Eruption, and I've been like, no, it's me playing, it's not Eddie. But then they're like, no, you can't use this. It's not. You're not allowed to use audio from Tokyo Dome. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I just played a little bit differently, or that's why I've cut some things off from the previous Van Halen albums and played them a bit differently, just to avoid this thing with YouTube and Google, which is very understandable. Of course, you're not allowed to use other people's audio. So I guess I need to take that as a compliment if an artificial intelligence thinks that my playing isn't my playing, but the king's playing. Okay, so whatever. Sorry. So the gear Edward used on the album, I had a couple of Guitar World magazines here, awesome album, and then I did some research and got some pictures from internet, but he used the 100 watt Stealth. This is a 50 watt. They sound quite the same. 100 watt has a little bit bigger sound, like 100 watt amps usually do. And the pedal board, picture somewhere now, is what Edward has used quite a long time, at least his recent years when he played. And that consists of a chorus ensemble, which I have there on my board, a flanger, well I have a bass flanger, then a EDDIE Van Halen phaser, I have a standard phaser. Now I own the EDDIE Van Halen phaser too, which is basically this one and the script logo one in one phaser. You can flick the switch, flick with the switch between them, and Eddie uses the script logo one, which is a little bit more smoother sounding than this black logo, but that'll do now. I actually use the script logo also when I use that pedal. That's on my Cyrus Liboard pedal now in Gothenburg. Okay, and then he has octave. Well, I don't have a bass octave pedal, but I have this whammy which I used as an octave, as you heard. And then he's channel switching between the amps, and then he's kind of like board where he's, preset different sounds for different songs. Well, I have here these like phaser, it switches phaser, EQ, we'll get into that later, flanger, chorus, and I have three amps here, Stealth, 50 and the Iridium, which I'm gonna show you soon how they sound and how can you make a sound like that, like Eddie's on the album, or at least close. Okay, the settings, they're pretty much the same than Eddie's, but like I've always said, you shouldn't look at the sound, you should listen to the sound. So with my playing, my sound, when I dialed the exact settings what Eddie had, it didn't sound like Eddie. It sounded like me. So I dialed them a little bit differently so that it will sound more like Eddie, but it still sounds like me. So, but it's a good kind of guide to use. So basically there's quite a lots of low ends, reasonable amount of highs and mids, brown sound. So that's that. So basically what there is the lows are around 3 o'clock, mids and highs a little bit over noon, and well, gain I actually, this second channel it's maxed like Eddie's, but on the third channel, the lead channel, I have it a little bit less than what Eddie, because it was like so much, I was like, I can't play with this. And then his rack effects. I have now like a layman's delay stuff here, but what Eddie uses, so he has two Roland SD. Let me actually take another guitar workers I have there. Eddie explains actually how it is. This is from February 2016. So the signal comes first from a guitar via wireless, and then via wireless there's this Coleman audio switcher, different packs, different guitars, different wireless packs. Then it goes to wah. Well, in my case here it goes to whammy, because I like the octave to be first, so it tracks kind of the DI signal. Then what I have here is a Faltone Clyde Deluxe wah set to the Wacket, which is pretty deep, like the EVH wah. It's a little bit deeper than your standard Crybaby. Okay, then Eddie's signal goes to phaser, mine goes 2 here. Then to flanger, mine goes 2. Well, there's an EQ in front, we'll get into that soon. And then Eddie has the octave, and then a chorus ensemble, which I actually said exactly like Eddie has said. It's the same pedal. The decimator isn't on now there. And then the signal goes to the amplifier. And then there's two like these line tap devices which are connected to the speaker outs. So cables from speaker outs go to these line tap devices made by Dave Friedman. So what they do is they changed the speaker out signal, which is like really powerful and hot. So it changes it to line level signal. Okay? And then from the second line tap device, it goes to the HH power amp. It's a solid state power amp, really transparent. And from there it goes to 2x12 EVH cabinet. And that goes to Alex. So Alex is listening kind of, you know, a rehearsal place. He has his cabinet there. And because there's the line tap and the HH, it kind of acts like an attenuator. So you can dial the overall volume from the HH, even though the amp is cranked. So then you can tame down the volume so that it's just right for, you know, Alex. So when he listens to it via Eddie's cab, and that's a dry sound. He listens to dry sound. Well, the pedal board effects are on, but the delay and stuff, he doesn't hear those. Okay, then from the second line tap, there's two signals out. One goes directly to one cabinet, which is dry. It's always dry, except the effects that are on the pedal board, like pre-amp, before amplifier. And then one signal goes to Lexicon PCM70, which is a delay reverb unit. And then it has stereo outs, so then one out goes to one Roland SD3000, and the other signal goes to another Roland. And they are delays which are set like the other is set to 398 milliseconds, the other at 798. So it creates this like big sound, stereo delay sound, and those are like on all the time. And what Eddie says here that he uses those kind of like, because he doesn't like reverb. I'm a bit same. I usually do these kind of spacey sounds with delay, you know, when you dial it the right amount, then I like it more than just the like reverb. So he uses that just to, so that the sound is really big on stage, because it's coming from one, the middle one is the dry, and then the left one, so it creates this huge. I played with a similar rig by my friend Erkka Korhonen, great Finnish guitarist, and it sounds huge. So yeah, so that's the deal. And those effects, the Lexicon and the Roland, they go to another HH power amp, because it's a line signal. You know, the device changes it to line signal, and then the HH amplifies it again so that it's loud enough so that the speakers can actually have something to work with. So again, you can crank the amp and then you can dial the volume with the HH, kind of like you do with an attenuator. So that's the Eddie's like big rig. Well, obviously, I don't have those. Many of us don't. I have 3 cabinets. Well, I've had like 4 at once, but how to do this really simply is just to hook a delay in the effect loop. And yeah, Eddie uses MXR Smart Gate in the effect loop also. So it cuts the hiss from the preamp, because he's not using any distortion pedals to create the distortion overdrive. So he doesn't need a gate on the pedal board to get rid of the hiss from the overdrive pedals, which he doesn't use. So it cuts I have here good old Boss NS2, so that cuts the noise. So that's the gear now. So what I have now is a guitar, then it goes to the pedal board, like I show you, then it goes to this KHE audio amp switcher. That's there because I can change between a couple of amps. Then the speaker out from each of these 3 amps that are on go back to this KHE, and then the signal goes to this Sandrock React IR, reactive load, where I actually made an IR for this video, which is called EVV, not EVH, because EVV are my actual names, letters, so pretty close. And I will show you that soon, what I did. And then the signal goes from this React IR to this Cubase and I'm recording this to, no, the Steinberg audio interface, and I'm recording this to Cubase. And there's like nothing on, so everything is happening here. Okay, now before I play again, let me show you what I did with how I created the IR and what I used. Okay, so here's my laptop is connected via USB cable to the soundtrack, and what I have here, I have one cabinet mic with 4 mics. So the first mic is, because from the picture, how Eddie's cabs were mic'd. He had 3 cabinets mic'd, you know, the dry one, and then the wet ones, and the angles, at least what I saw from the pictures, they were a little bit different, and I did the same, and obviously I used my ears, and I was able to get quite close, similar cab sound from, well, it's a Marshall cabinet. This doesn't have the Peavey cabinet, but I tried a few different cabinets. There's a Mesa Boogie, Diesel, Orange. The Marshall fitted the best, and the Marshall has the EVH speaker. It differs a bit from V30s, that my signature IR, which is actually quite close of this, but it's a V30 based and Mesa based IR, so it was a little bit different than this. So Marshall cabinet, EVH speaker, which is basically a 20 watt Sebastian Greenback. Then 57, and like on the second position, so it's not directly to the cone, a little bit further away. Then this was actually this. Then the like main sound, same cabinet, same speaker, same microphone, but on the edge of where the cone and the middle part. That's kind of the sweet spot for 57 users. That was the main. And then the third mic, it was a little bit far away, so that it doesn't pick so many highs. And that was kind of the basic sound, 357s. But I felt that I couldn't get the sound. It was slacking a little bit like Body, that lowered thump, what the album has. So what I did, this is not what Eddie used, at least based on the article. I added a Royer 121 straight to the cone. That mic's it picks the low frequencies really well. So that's the kind of the body. And these were, was it like this? Is that this Tokyo Dome? But I can open it, since this is for presentation or proposes, and then I can burn this to the IR to the device. But after I burn this, I can open it. But this is basically was what I did. So if you have this soundtrack, which is awesome, you can create a similar sound with yourself. So just like, 3S and 57s angled a little bit differently, and then the Royer 121 to give that body. And then this reverb is really smooth. Normally, I don't use reverb, especially on IRs, because if it's there, you can't get it out. But since this IR's name was EVV Tokyo Dome, obviously it's a live album, so there was this space, this feeling of space. So I added this just a little bit to give it a little bit more spacious vibe. So that's the impulse response I'm using. So I'm not using the cab, but this one. Okay? Okay, so that's the IR. So just to compare my signature IR, this is the EVV Tokyo Dome. This is the Valovirta. So So here my signature, he has bigger bottom end because this was a Mesa oversized cabinet and V30s were used, but I think this is quite close to the EDDIE's tone. It's not as big because I have only the 50 watt amp, but it's basic tone, it's pretty close. Alright, so to the point, as you hear, there's this delay. So without it, and it's like I said, Eddie has it on all the time. And on Cathedral, he uses a little bit different settings, which I'm gonna show you how you do it with just basic DD7. So without the effects, there's the hiss, and the sound is a lot more like this. But when you add the delay, so I've been playing with the second channel now. I think that's the, at least it sounds like it's the main channel, and then on leads, and then these. Those things. I think he just engages the third channel, which is lots of gain, and it's a little bit higher volume. So yeah, delay in the loop, the settings are, you saw from the picture. Level feedback around 11, delay time around 2, and then the 800 milliseconds setting. I think that's pretty close. So, and then the clean sound. I think the only time he uses the clean sound is actually the Cathedral. So let me switch to clean sound. Okay, so how do you do the Cathedral delay with the simple delay like this? Well, you max the levels. And then you want to make sure that there's kind of like 1.5 repeat. Like this. And then I think there's a little bit of chorus. So. And how you play the thing, you kind of have to play with the delay. So I will explain it to you. I'm not gonna play it exactly because I don't want to, again, any YouTube eye to claim that this audio is from Tokyo Dome. But anyway, so it's like volume on 0, and then you press. Let's actually switch to the second channel gain. So the tempo is D, D. But you have to play it twice as fast. So D, 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 D. That was a little bit out of tempo, but hopefully you understand my point. So kind of like, D, 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 not. But. and so on. So you kind of, so that the delay hits kind of in between. It's a little bit tricky, and I read somewhere that Eddie says that he's effed up that a couple of times too and needed to start again, because you know, you need to play with that delay, whatever it is. So yeah, that's the cathedral thing. And then let's switch back to normal delay. I like that. Well, so it creates this nice bass. So obviously the stealth is, you know, you can get really close with the 5153 stealth, 50 or 100 watts. I mean, you're not gonna get, no one's gonna get the exact sound because we're not EDDIE Van Halen's. But you can also get really close. I mean, this BluGuitar AMP Iridium, it's a fantastic, I must say. The first video I did, and the first time I tried, I was blown away. And luckily now, thank you Thomas, I'm an endorsee, so this will be my, whenever we're able to tour again, hopefully soon with Syra, this will be my main amp. And that's basically the amp that I use at home too, when I play, because I can make this to sound basically any amp I have. So listen, now I have the basic channel, which is kind of like 800 or this second channel here. I'm gonna turn off the delay because now the delay is only on this, so it doesn't, you know, disturb you. So first the stealth. It's like with a little bit more tweaking, because these now what I have basically are my settings, that my, you know, basic what I use. So no overdrives, nothing. And then the lead channel on stealth, there's lots of gain. And now I don't have the loop on. Now it's quiet, but Iridium, lead channel. And that's also a bit different because that's kind of my lead channel, but it's cool because that's like a modern channel. And then this basic is more like your 800. So that's a great amp. You can make it sound like anything if you know how to. Okay, and then the classic 5150. So that's a little bit more like vintage sounding amp. So let's put the lead channel on and then the stealth. Whoops, stealth on channel 2. It's like generally darker. I tried to dial it as close, but this was the closest. And then the rhythm channel, that's even darker. But by adding EQ, you can make this actually sound quite close to the stealth's rhythm channel. Not quite, because this is generally a bit more vintage sounding, but the lead channel is actually They played the Drop Dead Legs on that tour also, and I read that Eddie said that he used the octave on the end of the Drop Dead Legs. The riff goes something like that. So, yeah, that's how you do it. You don't necessarily need to have a, same gear, but similar will help. And the guitar, well, which is the Frankenstrat, I think this is a Wolfgang pickup. So a kind of medium output passive pickup, have that chime. And then the EVH speakers, because they're like greenbacks, so they kind of break up earlier, because they're only 20 watt, compared to, let's say, V30s, which are 60 watt. So you hear this like upper, like sandiness, there's more of that. And lots of lows, like fair amount of mids and highs, but not like really, brown sound. So that's how you get. And the delay in the loop and the noise suppressor to get rid of the hiss, and delay just to make it bigger. And occasional chorus. I think he said that he used the chorus ensemble on Drop Dead Legs. But I think I kind of hear that it's on the Cathedral as well. Maybe not. But anyway, it's set to, as you can see, the levels is high, but the rate is really slow. So it just adds kind of like depth, and it's really like almost non-audible. But you hear it when it's not there. So. Immediately that 5150 album sound, I think he used chords on that too. And let's Drop Dead Legs. Yeah, it isn't like that, but you know what I said. So that's the thing. Phaser, flanger, chorus. Phaser on the old solos, he uses mostly phaser because he used that back in the day, just kind of because it boosts the signal a bit, but it sounds also cool. Oh, at least that was different. Hopefully I don't need to cut that out. Hey, okay. I got a little bit excited, but I mean, I love Van Halen. Great amps. You know, guitar playing is fun. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative and maybe got some ideas, you know, to try these, you know, simple things and so on. If you like this, you know, please hit the like button and subscribe and so on. Until next time, take care. All the best. See ya.